Say hi when you hop in. Okay. Let's have a chat. So I've had how do I want to start this? I've had a theme with my clients lately. And that theme has been shifting from doing all the things, especially in business, in relationship, but this also applies to, well, pretty much everything. From doing all the things, being extremely present, active, from basically not doing anything yet getting everything that they try to achieve by doing all the things. And this is also, well, this is how everything happens for me. And I don't usually talk about my physical results in business because I'm not here to get you outcomes. I'm here to get you experiences that lead to unimaginable outcomes. But that's just an that's inevitable. But since this came up, I started thinking about how last year I made $20,000 in my business. And how this year I've made, what was the number? $162,000 in cash. With the fraction of the work that I did last year. Last year, I was on it all the time. I was creating content all the time. I was doing everything, all the strategies, all the things, all the teachings, trying to do a program after program after program, and I got nothing. And the 2 clients that I did get for 10 grand each were hard fucking work to get. And now it is crazy how things change when you get your frame. It's pure play. You don't have to be in it. You have to be out of it to get anything. And I started thinking about why that is. Like, why do people who come to me single get these unimaginable relationships within weeks of us working together? And why their businesses just blow the fuck up out of nowhere? And it's because of the high feminine void. And the frame that frames a void. So I want to dive into the energetics. I don't know how long this is going to take. It's midnight for me. But this needs to come through. So I don't know. Buckle up. let me just pull up what I said about this live stream. Yeah. So first things first. When your feminine is in bed with the wimpy fucker, it's no different than being physically in bed with a wimpy fucker who doesn't know how to create an experience for you, who doesn't know how to touch you right in places that you didn't know could turn you on, who doesn't know what he's doing. He holds a container for okay. When I was in my swampy feminine, when my husband was in his wimpy fucker, the way that our sex would go was that he would ask me what I wanted in bed. He would constantly be holding space for my desires, my feelings, how I felt, how I wanted him to do, what I wanted him to provide for me. And even though it's okay for a while, maybe, it's not a turn on. No woman wants to be held space for in bed. No one. A woman, the feminine, wants a man who knows what he is doing, who knows how to read her, who knows how to touch her, who knows how to push her buttons, who knows how to create tension, who knows how to take her to the edge and keep her there, at the edge of insanity, who knows her limits better than she does, and who knows how to take her beyond. There's no tension in constantly asking, how are you feeling? What do you want me to do next? Are you okay? Does this feel good? Nah. But that's what you're getting energetically when you're in bed with a wimpy fucker. So you have to be constantly physically there, which means that you can actually be energetically present. You have to be telling him what to do, making sure that he's doing it right so that you can feel something, wiggling, adjusting your position to make his finger be in the right place at the right time so that you know, all the things. Yeah. It is exhausting. You might get the orgasm, but there's no experience to be had in that. And what the high feminine is here for is the experience, not the fucking orgasm. That's what's happening in business as well. That's why people can seem like they have the most fucking amazing $1 million business, all the things, but they have to be constantly working on it. They have to constantly be managing, posting content, doing live streams, doing all the things to keep their field, the container, lit up and in order and magnetic so that people keep coming in. Because the reality is that the frame, the field that the masculine is holding is simply not strong and potent enough to hold the tension, to create tension without the feminine constantly working on it. When you're with the high masculine man, there's no asking. He doesn't ask you what you like. He doesn't ask you what he could do to you. He doesn't ask you what you'd like to do next. And he doesn't tell you what he's going to do next either. Energetically, when your high masculine activates, it's actually you go blind completely. Your imagination, it shuts off. Your intuitive skills, your psychic skills, they're gone. Your field goes blind. Your gift stops working. Everything that you used to see and know shuts off. Because when you're with a high masculine, he does the knowing. And you do the obeying. And you do the experiencing everything that he does for you. Everything that he has in store for you. Sex, dominance, submission, and these energetics, they literally work hand in hand. Yeah, you don't need to see. And the first thing that you need to admit to yourself before you can actually arouse the high masculine is that you do not want to see, that you don't want to know, that it's boring for you to know what's coming, to see what he's doing, and to be somehow able to be clear on what he's going to do to you next or where he's going to take you next. You don't want that. That's boring. If you can see it, if you can imagine it, it's already it's already dead. Your high feminine wants the unknown. She wants to be blindfolded. She wants to be taken to places where she's never been before and given experiences that she's never had before. And that is why the only way that you can get anything when your high masculine is active is by detaching your energy from the thing, from the field completely. The high masculine drops things into a void. Void of attachment, void of stakes, void of matter, void of the swampy feminine and the wimpy fucker. Those two are the parts of you that hold all the content, all the risks, all the matter, all the stakes, that make life serious, that make something matter. And the truth is that nothing matters. It's all a game. Everything. It is all a big DS scene. That's all it is. And he's gonna wait for you to be energetically still, to drop anything into your field. I think I briefly touched on this on the last live, but I had, like, we had a scene with my husband where he literally he sat there for 3 hours and did nothing. And it was one of the best sex scenes that we've ever had, because the tension was there all the time. He was present energetically. He held the frame so that I could become a void, because I was surrendering, because I was grasping for knowing, because I was trying to control, because I was attached to the outcome. Not physically, but energetically, and he knows, he can tell. A high masculine man can tell when you do that. And a high masculine does not engage with the swampy feminine. He does not engage with surrender. He waits. And he's gonna sit there and wait for you to throw the wimpy fucker out of the bed before he ever gives you anything. And one of the reasons why all the psychic skills, all the gifts that people have turn off is that the high masculine does not need to prove himself to you. He doesn't need to give you any insight into what's coming. He doesn't have to validate himself or give you like hints that he's there. He doesn't need to do any of that. All the synchronicities, what the hell is that? The synchronicities that you used to see, the angelic numbers, all the things that are there, they're from the wimpy fucker. He is constantly accessible and active in your field because he needs to prove himself. He needs to show you that he's there. He needs to prove to you that he is holding space for you. He needs to prove himself in the bed, that he's good enough, that he can provide, that something's coming, that you will get what you desire. The high masculine, no. Yep. So yes, when your high masculine is active, when he's holding a frame for you, and again, if you think about this in bed, in sex, you don't need to do anything. You don't actually need to do anything. You get to be present in the experience. You get to just experience it. You don't need to actively do anything to get what you desire. Actually, that's the exact thing that will get him to disengage with you and sit in that chair for 3 hours and wait. The other reason why, especially in business, it is crucial that you do not attach your energy into anything. That as soon as something gets created, you drop it and you walk away energetically completely, is because what you're creating when your wimpy masculine is holding a container is content. You're creating content. You see this word in business all the time. Creating content. That content adds up, which creates magnetism in your field. People come, people want to read the content, they want to absorb the content, they want to consume the content. When you're creating from your genius, from your high feminine genius, what you are creating is a piece of art that is both a portal and a bomb. When you create a piece of art, it is designed to disrupt the swampy feminine. It is designed to collapse the swampy feminine from their field. And the way you collapse their swampy feminine is with the truth. So when you create a piece of art and you put it on the wall, in this case, let's say your Facebook wall, you create a piece of art and then you stay attached to that piece of art. You attach a purpose to it. You stay and watch and wait if there's engagement, if there's questions, if there's whatever, an outcome, waiting for an outcome from a piece of art. It is no longer art. Art is created when you are turned on by the piece that you are creating. Simple as that. You're turned on by what you're writing. And everything that comes or doesn't come, which doesn't matter to you when you're creating a piece of art. You're creating it for the sake of fucking creating it. And everything that comes from it is overflow. It is not to fill yourself up. It is not to fill a void inside of you, a different kind of void. It is not to gain something from creating that piece of art. You're creating it, you're putting on the wall, and then you walk away because now the piece of art is complete. There's nothing that you need from it. There's nothing that you are expecting from it. There is nothing that you need to do to explain it, make it palatable. There's nothing that you need to do to that piece of art. You simply drop it into the void and then you walk away. And what happens when you do this is it gets framed by the high masculine. When it's in a void and you're energetically not there, it is complete. it gets framed by the high masculine. And then he sets out to provide you with an experience. It is that simple. He will not frame content. It's energetically impossible to frame content. Just not possible. There's a reason why people say that you submit art. You submit a piece. It's not, I surrender this piece. No, you submit it. It's done. And a piece of art will not submit to a container. When something is a piece of art, it's not going to submit to being contained. Should a man focus more on raising their high masculine or high feminine? So with my male clients, for men, their fullest power lies in activating their high feminine and then dominating it as the physical incarnation of their high masculine. So it's both and. You need to understand both the energetics and you need to understand how to dominate your high feminine so that she stays turned on, blind, unknowing, in submission, and that the tension stays intact all the time. I was actually just talking, I was on a call with Greg earlier, and we were talking about how the tension, like you need to, okay, so first you create the tension, which is what both collapses the swampy feminine and activates the turn on of the high feminine. And then your high feminine, when you're in the energetics of high feminine, high masculine, your high feminine will get bored fast. She will learn to withstand the tension. So the trick of the high masculine is to increase the tension before she gets bored. That's how he keeps her blind and in tension and in the stillness and in the challenge that she craves. If you let her see, if you get complacent, if you let her get comfortable, if you let things get predictable for her, she will get bored and she will exit your field. So the trick is to master both, and that applies to both genders. It's just that for women, their fullest power lies in activating their high masculine and then submitting to it as the incarnation of their high feminine. So it's upside down. Is the frame always the first step? What lets the art come through? No, the frame is not the first step. The frame will not come until your high masculine activates. And he will not engage in your field until it is void of surrender. Which means that the work is in the feminine first. The feminine is the activator. So the first thing is to remove the energy of surrender from your field completely. To drop into the void, the unknown. There comes this point. And this is like, it's not energetic, it's not like decluttering, it's you destroy the content and the container. And then you drop into the nothing. And you're suspended there. In the complete unknown, having removed everything that is not a clean turn on from your field, without knowing what's going to come, without knowing if it's going to come. Like you literally have to go blind first. And then he activates. It's like an internal battle that's always been going on, but I've never been able to put my finger on the pulse of exactly what it was. Thank you. Yep. I hear that a lot from men. So here's the thing, when you're a man with the high masculine potential, it's gonna eat you alive. The energy of the high masculine it's even more potent than the high feminine. And the way that the whole society has conditioned men to behave, to show up is it is killing both of the energies that are inside you that are actually you. And there's like, when men come to me, they usually have like an area, maybe two, of their lives where they can get into the high masculine, where they can create and hold the tension. But they cannot sustain it throughout their lives, throughout the whole arena, and they collapse from having to battle the swampy feminine, the wimpy fucker, and actually stay in that high state. Because there's so much content in their field. Most men cannot sustain it. And this applies to, like, I literally, I know maybe 3 men who can actually sustain that state. People that everybody thinks are there are not. I don't know a single person in the spiritual community in the business community, in the dominant submission scene, who are teaching it, living it, talking about it online, that can actually hold the tension required to make, not make, to hold the frame for submission. None of them. Except, like, Gregory. But, yeah. Black hole. It is actually like a black hole. When you are the high feminine void, when you are in submission, it creates a vacuum. And things, people, they just get sucked in. And the way that it looks in the physical, it's like how I used to have to engage and build know, like, and trust with people. And engage for a long time for them to actually be ready to buy anything. Send messages, ask them how they are, do all the things, hold space for them. Now it's like they send a message, I respond to the message, I remove myself from their field, I remove them from my field. 2 hours, 3 hours later, they pay. Because I'm not holding space. And because I'm not allowing, I'm unavailable. The high feminine is unavailable energetically. Her field that hosts her genius is the hardest thing to get to. It requires submission to get in. Because there's no turn on for her in playing with the swampy feminine. There's no turn on unless it's to disrupt her and collapse her. And here's the thing, it's not personal. It's not personal to the person. You're just not holding space for their swampy feminine because you know that there's the high feminine that is caged underneath all that content. And you're collapsing the content to get to her. And you're not available for the swampy feminine. You're not available for the stories. You're not available for the illusion. You're not available for the discords. You're available for the high feminine, the high masculine. You're available for the game. And you cannot play a game with the swampy feminine, the wimpy fucker. The swampy feminine makes everything so fucking serious. Everything matters to her. You can feel the energy of people who are serious about everything. Every single little thing matters so fucking much. It's dense. Their field is so dense with matter that it is exhausting. And you can see that it's exhausting for them to keep and hold and stick to all that matter. That's not what they want. So that's not what you're holding space for. So even if we have a physical partner, the game is played with the high masculine within. Firstly, yes. I have a physical partner. My devotion, my integrity is towards my own high masculine. Always. Which means that when he is in his high masculine, I submit to him. He's the physical incarnation of my high masculine. He is the perfect unmatch to me when he's in his high masculine. But if he ever collapses into his wimpy masculine, I do not engage. I do not surrender to that. My devotion is to the highest frequency of masculine in my field at any given time. And I don't hold space for him. I don't relate to him. I don't relate to his swampy feminine, wimpy masculine. I don't relate to his stories, his illusions in any way. There's no union. It's a game. And this is my game. His game is his game. The high masculine will not play your game. Ever. He's not here to play your game. He's here to play his game. You're here to play your game. And then in the physical, when you have that high masculine man, the high feminine woman, you just come together to play your games. But you never suck people in to your game. Men have been conditioned since birth that tension is scary. That it's intense, that it's evil, and should be avoided. Even those who are physically brutal have many areas they won't sustain tension. Physically brutal? What do you mean? So there's a difference between high masculine potential and actual high masculine. There's a reason why women love the bad boys. Why women who have a massive high feminine potential attract that type of man who is like super dark and scary and all the things. He has the high masculine potential. He is not in it. He's in his swampy feminine. But the potential is there, and your high feminine is calibrated to recognize the highest frequency of masculine in your field. She's calibrated to recognize the high masculine potential. And when you don't understand the difference between the potential and the actual energetics that are active, that's when you get into relationships with people who have the potential but who are like narcissists or who do not understand how to actually be in their power. They're in their overcompensating swampy feminine. And also, Okay, this is not where I was going with this, but let's roll with it. Energetically, and it doesn't matter what it looks like in the physical, a man who is either vocally, physically abusive, a narcissist, whatever that is, also women. The reason why is that their high feminine, high masculine potential is huge. Their genius is huge. It's massive. The potential is massive. And because they do not understand, they don't know how to actually let it out into the world energetically, it turns on them. It disrupts them from the inside. And eventually, because it needs an outlet, it needs a way to get out. So if it's not disrupting them internally, it is attacking. It's resulting in them attacking other people. And like turning it into a physical thing. When it's actually supposed to be energetic, the disruption. You can't sustain tension if you don't know how to create it energetically. And it's not actually even about creating it. It's about just being in your high masculine, having a frame. The frame creates the tension, and you don't need to do it. People have to do so much in their relationships to create tension because they don't know how to create it in the energetics. That's what's all the... We were talking about this with my husband, and what did he say? Was something about how he used to like use a lot of, you know, external tools like handcuffs and all sorts of things to create the tension because it just wasn't there. But now we actually rarely use any toys like that because the energy creates the tension, the energy creates the bonds and the binds, and the energy of how he says, you know, be still, or stay there, or don't move. It's way stronger than any physical bind and tension that he could create. And it's way more of a turn on to actually have a man who can bind you down with just words and energy. I used to need handcuffs and all the bondage things to be able to submit because the energy wasn't there. We used to need all the physical things. the clothes, the laundry, all the things to create the turn on, because it wasn't there in the energetics. No, not anymore. It's a cool add-on, but it's overflow. It's just an extra thing. It adds to the tension, but there's no way to create it in the physical if it doesn't exist in the energetics. That is surrender. It's not submission. Okay. What else? Any questions? I think I'm pretty much done for now. Like all of this, we're gonna go really deep into in the master frame. It's not just about the energetics, it's about the turn on and the tension. And it's about dominance submission. It's about the physical experience of it. It's about the energetic experience. It's about turning your business and your relationship into the most fucking mind-blowing DS scene ever. Of your whole life. It's gonna be so fucking hot. I'm literally just getting started creating the frame. Okay, if you guys don't have any questions, I think I'm gonna go to bed now. Bye!